Hi everyone, welcome to this special session. In this session, we are going to learn trigger examples. So I'm going to work on custom objects because in our normal examples, we used to work on standard objects, and there are slight differences between custom and standard objects. That's why I prefer to make it in custom objects. So we are going to understand the logic of triggers. We are going to code triggers, handler class, and also test class at the end. And we are going to test and try to cover 100% coverage of handler class and test class and trigger class. So if you are ready, I want to start quickly. During our video, I want to close my video so that it will not block your vision. So only voice will be on. So in example, before we start, I want you to create some custom objects so that we are going to work on these objects. I have a special application which is called My School app. In the My School app, there are three main objects, custom objects. One is student object, parent object, and report card object. We are going to work on these three objects. So here is the fields, custom fields, and the standard fields of these objects. In the parent object, we have these field types. We have also student object and the fields of the student objects, and also report card objects and its fields, as you see here. So let's come to our org. In the org, I have special app. I said My School app. The My School app, as you see, I have some objects, as you see here, student, parent, and report cards. And also I want to show once more the object details. For example, parent object has some fields. You can see here, field types, and smaller. Okay, you can see field names and field types. The second one is student object and its fields, again, you can see here. And finally, report card object, and here is the fields. If you are ready, I want to start the first trigger. In the first trigger, I am asked to create a trigger, as you see here in the screen. Whenever a student is created, a report card should automatically be created with the name of the student, and the current academic term should be selected. So this is an automation. So whenever I create a student in the system, an automatic report card should automatically be created associated with this student. So there are a relationship between, there's a master detail relationship, student and the report card, as you can understand. So let's come to our developer console and create our first trigger. Apex trigger. Usually we create only one trigger per object. That's why I write a standard name, which is student trigger. Why I am creating on the student object? Because the student is the one firing our triggers, because whenever a student is created, this trigger must work, must be fired. That's why I put on student object. Let me find my student object here. Okay, student trigger on student object. Yes, start. Okay, And is it after or before insert? This also, you should only think about this. My trigger, my object that I create my trigger on, is it the one finally be used for executing or for my logic? In my scenario, whenever a student is created, a report card will be created. The report card is another object. That's why I must use an after trigger. So after insert, because after insertion of student, the student will be saved in database, and after then, trigger will create a report card. That's why it should be after insert trigger. Okay, next, I want to put my conditions so that in case I may have more logic in my trigger, that's why I want to make it clear. So if trigger that is after and trigger that is insert, yes, then my logic will work. So these are my context variables. Trigger that is after, because my trigger is after trigger, and trigger that is insert because I'm using insert context variable. Okay, now I'm ready. Only I'm going to put my class name, handler class, and class method, and I will come to here later. Let's create our class, new class, Apex class, and I will put student trigger handler. Here's a handler class. Okay, and then let me put my method name here, public, static, and void because there is no return here. I'm going to use void type, and a name. So what's his name? Report card creation. Okay, report card creation, I can say. This is my method, and here we go. Okay, now my method and class is ready. I'm going to take my class name from here and use it in trigger. That I take my method from here again, and I put here, and that's all. And finally, I'm going to put here a list, which is trigger dot new. Why is new? Because a newly created record, and it's coming as trigger.new, so as a list. So after trigger.new, this list of students actually should come here. I should pass it here as a list. That's why I'm opening a list here. What is the name of list? Is student list. So I put student, but it's a custom object. That's why don't forget to put underscore C, close my list, and give a name. For example, student, std list. Let me take student list. That's all. I save here, and I go back and I save my trigger as well, and my trigger is ready now. Okay, I'm done in this page. I'm going to handler class now. What is in handler class? What should I do? So firstly, if I don't know where to start, I can start easily from for each loop, usually in handler class. Why? Because I have a list coming from trigger, which is student list. So I'm going to iterate over this student list. That's why I'm opening a for each loop for that. Or student, of course, is a custom object, student. For example, STD, and my list name is here. Copy and paste here. So I am iterating over student list, taking by student one by one, and as a name of STD. Then open for each loop. Okay, so I am ready now. So why I'm iterating over the student, as you can understand, I need to create a report card for each student. That's why, sorry, is it report card, right? Yes, report card creation. So I need to create a report card for each student. That's why let me take an instance for report card. How is it? Report card. I don't know the API name, so quickly I will come here. So, okay, this is report card already. So details, and this is API name of report card. I take it from here. Report card, okay. So I will give a name, report card, RC, okay, equals new report card. So, okay, I'm creating a report card. And of course, for this report card, I'm going to give a student name as STD so that it will be associated for the report card. Means this report card is belong to a particular student. That's why I'm putting RC dot student. Of course, report card has a student field, and this student field will be taken from student ID, which is coming from iteration. So std dot ID. Okay, so this student is owner of the report card. I can say this way. So that's okay, but I need to insert this report card, but for each loop is not good practice to insert one by one and putting it here. Instead, I'm going to create a list, empty list, and I will put every report card in this list. So let me open a report card list here. Sorry. Okay, report card, let me put a list of report card. Okay. Report card list is the name. New, again, report card list. Sorry. List again. Yes. And semicolon. Okay, this is empty report card list now. And I will put my report cards in this list. So I will put here an RC list, report card list, dot add brackets my report card, which is RC. Okay, I add it. And finally, I will insert my list, which is RC list. Okay, that's all for now. Just I have student list coming here. For each student list, I'm iterating and creating a report card. And I associate this report card to the student here. And I add this report card to this report card list. And I insert report card list. Let me save it. So it should work. And let's test quickly. For example, student here. Let me create a new student. For example, student, I will take student, for example, 100, let me say. And of course, there should be a parent for that. Let's take parent 4. That's all, and save. Okay, my student is here. When I come to related part, I will see report card here, which is RC008 is report card. When I click on it, I will see that report card details, and in the details, student name is student 100, which is just given by me. So this is what we want actually. So it is working. So it's working, but I want to also create a test class so that I will check by test code, test class and the coverage percentage. Let me quickly create an Apex class. It will be a test class, of course. Trigger, or what's a student trigger? Student trigger test. Okay. So if it's a test class, of course, I need to put @is test so that system will understand that this is a test class. And I will write a method for that. For this method as well, I need to put is test. Then I will type my method. So what is method name? Of course, my method will be static void and test report card test, maybe. All right. Report card test. This is my method. That's all. Let's save it. Now, here, to test my trigger and handler class, system is waiting, expecting from me a student or student list, bulk of students, so that when I insert the student, trigger will be fired, and after trigger, handler class will work, and the others will come automatically. That's why only thing I will do is inserting a student. That's all. So how I'm going to create a student. Of course, I will create a student instance first. Student underscore C. ST, for example, and new student underscore C. That's all for this instance. And of course, I will give some name and the required fields. And if you don't know what is required for student object, you can see easily from here. So I have student name, which is required, and the parent. So parent and student name should be given. So name st dot name, okay, equals, for example, test name. And what about parent? St dot parent. I need to give a parent, but I don't know the name of parent in the system, and it may be deleted and not exist. So I need to create it here. That's why let me create a parent here. Okay, parent. Okay. Let it be P equal new parent. Okay. This is my instance. Okay. My instance for parent. Okay. And I can give a name for parent. For example, P dot name. Let it be test parent. Test parent. And I will insert this parent. Insert B. Okay. So this parent is inserted in the system, so I can use this parent. So I'm going to use the parent as P dot ID. So ID of this parent will be my parent of the student. That's why I'm going to use it here. Okay. So normally I can insert this student easily from here, but for best practice again, I want to make it in for loop, so that I will create 200 students and I will collect it as a list and I will insert the list. This is best practice. That's why let me open for loop integer. For example, I equals from 1 to 200 and I plus plus. Okay. And I will create my students here. Yeah. So this is my student. Even I can make it like this. So this is my student and ST. So for this, I need to have an empty list so that I will put inside. Let me create a list of student underscore underscore C and ST list like this, and new also list of student. Okay, I have the list. So this is my list name. I'm going to take it here. Dot add. What is the name of student? ST. So every student will be added to the list. And after for each loop, I will come out and I will insert my list. That is my list name is ST list. That's all. So I'm ready. Let me save. Any problem? Okay, let me see what is 10 invalid type student. Okay, student underscore underscore C. Like this, sorry. That's why I want to work in custom objects. Sometimes we forget to add this underscore C. Okay, what's the problem here? Okay, I forget. Yeah. We save again. Okay, we are good to go. And let's run our test. Okay, run our test. Let's check our test. Okay, we pass. Our test is okay. And from here, we can see the coverage. Our trigger was student trigger. I click on it. So 100% coverage, 2-line and 2/2. And student trigger handler. I think this one was my handler class. And again, you see 100% coverage. So our test class is 100% successful. That's all. This is our first trigger. Thank you for listening. See you in next session.